What's up, guys? What's up? What's up? So this is going to be a live video. I don't expect anybody to tune in because most of the time, anybody that watches this channel doesn't really tune in to the live videos when they're live. But I do want to do it live because I feel like I can get a lot of things better off my chest when I do them live, and I don't know. There's a certain authenticity to doing this stuff live. So we'll go from there. Um, I want to check out the name of this video because I forgot what I named the damn video. The name of the stream. I think it was. Let me see here. What I named the stream. Let me see live here. Let's talk AI usage and Taj's ego slash jealousy within the space, montage editing theory, and everything in between. Um, so let's start with AI usage in Taj's. By the way, um, you know, I kind of felt bad about that habitual gaming edit scrapping video I made, but I've been trying to make it a habit to not delete my videos after I put them up because, I think there's some truth to a lot of the stuff that I say. And sometimes I end up having regrets because I'm like, oh, I hope I didn't insult this person, or I hope I didn't insult that person, or I hope this person doesn't take it the wrong way and think I'm talking about them, or this person think I'm talking about them. That was just a generalized video that I made, that really had no real targets in mind. But yeah, I had gotten some messages from some people. It's like, oh, are you talking about me? And it's like, no, I'm not. I was just talking in general, because I felt bad about what Taufer was going through. So I decided to make a video on my personal experience about it. And I personally, I just scrapped an edit, and I just scrapped a couple edits actually. And But the point is just to actually get work done, right? Like just to finish projects. If at least finish something. If you start like four projects and you finish one, that's better than finishing none and scrapping all of them and unlisting it all and listing it for a week or two and then unlisting it, and then you know uh just honey dicking everybody with an edit that people maybe they liked a lot and they want to watch again, but they can't because it was only on your channel, and they respect your privacy. They're not downloading your videos and posting them on their own channel, which they can do. And I wouldn't blame people for doing that, actually downloading videos and posting it on their channel, thinking, well, this motherfucker might actually uh unlist his shit again. So I wouldn't do it. I personally wouldn't do that to somebody, but I'm saying, like, there's a bunch of people out there that you never know what people are going to do. So you unlist your stuff. Somebody that you're giving more incentive for somebody to go and jack your shit and put it on their channel. So anyway, um what was I going to say? Let's talk AI usage in Tajas. Yes, AI usage in Tajas. I have no script. I didn't write anything on my phone, and I had my phone earlier. I had written something that I thought was interesting, but I had my phone in the living room right now because well, basically it's charging. So I'm one of those guys that has their phone chronically on low percentages. So yeah, let's talk about AI usage in Tajas. So I haven't seen very much AI usage in Tajas, to be honest with you. I think the only one that I know is the one that I made, which is the Surrender Project. It has a bunch of AI usage throughout the intro of the montage and the body of the montage in particular scenes. Now, um, I think as a community we should embrace these tools rather than shun them and shame them. Um, there's no, I mean, there's let's put it this way: every scene in that montage, in the Surrender Montage project, um, that was AI, uh, that had AI usage to animate stills. Like it's not as easy as you would think. You only get a certain amount of usages through the AI. On top of that, if you want to use it more, you have to pay for it. On top of that, um, what's it called? There's not just, I mean, it's not like you're just going to take the scene and slap it onto your video. You have to do a little bit more than that. So, and well, not just a little bit more than that. For some of them, you have to do a lot more than that. So, Um, for that stuff, like for example, like we have a scene like at the beginning of the video where there's a planet and you can see the planet and it's you know it's rotating and it's all this stuff and it's like yeah that's AI generated, right? But I mean I had to color grade it. I added a vignette. I added like some what's it called? A lens flare on there. I tracked all that stuff. I animated that in like with the crossfade and stuff. I mean, these are little things, and you think like, oh, that's easy. You know, it's not that hard of stuff to do. But it's not like I'm just slapping this thing on there. You know, I also had to crop it a certain way so that it looked a certain way that I wanted it to look for that particular scene. So, like, if we break down every single scene, there's one scene where I think all I did was color grade the footage, and then there's other things like, for example, if you watch the intro to Surrender, like there's sometimes there's you know the Spartan is fully masked and you know um the the what's it called the the background is it has a transfer mode applied to it with a clip playing in the background or a clip playing on a masked side, something manually tracked and masked for the scene, things like that, you know. So it's not like we're taking these AI generated, and also the screenshot that we use to animate is also, I mean, it's not, most of them aren't AI generated. They're taken directly from the game. Like the body work, the body screenshots that I used are all taken from the game. So some other stuff is completely AI generated, which I think is cool that you can actually do that. Is you can generate actually generate non uh screenshot uh derived work from through an AI, but you have to use two AIs for that. So there's a little bit of, it's not, there's a little bit of skill involved and there's a little bit of more of a, it's not as easy as one would think to do that. And as far as generating completely off the cuff, like just straight up AI generated Spartans and stuff like that through like Recraft, for example. So I'll drop the name of Recraft. If you've never heard of Recraft, it's an AI generating tool, AI image generating tool. And if if shit, man, I forgot what I was saying. Um, if you use AI to do that, like um, damn, this is why I hate doing these damn videos live. I swear to God, sometimes like I would be able to cut this out from the actual from the actual recording, but the recraft image. I mean, there takes some skill to do it. You can't just put whatever you want in there and use you know use the first image that comes out there. Sometimes it does work out that way, but generally like you have to try a couple times to get the right kind of image, and then even once you get the image right, you have to import that into another AI, get the AI to animate that particular screenshot, then bring that screenshot, I mean that image sequence that you created, that video that you created with the AI, the video AI from the screenshot, bring that, download that, bring that into After Effects or bring that into a video editing software, touch it up a little bit and make it so that you pick out the very best frames. Because sometimes, you know, the AI generating tool, video generating tool, particularly for gaming content, is not the most accurate, guys. So I know we see videos of Will Smith eating spaghetti and it looks fucking incredibly real, but yeah, it's not that good for video game stuff. So you do have to kind of be nitpicky about how you actually use this stuff and the AI and everything like that. With that said, I think there's some animosity towards the use of AI and some like shunning of it, dude. I mean, this is one of the best ways to get lighting exact, the exact lighting, the exact in-game lighting that you need in order to get the to animate a 3D Spartan and to get it to do what you want. So in my opinion, like it's untapped potential there. I don't see anybody really taking advantage of it how they should, from what I've gathered so far. And almost seems like they're almost opting to go a completely different route than that, like the opposite route than that, not even mess with 3D anymore, and just completely just avoid, putting that, even though it's easy, like putting that kind of touch into your video. I mean, there's so many cool things you can do with AI, particularly the animation of the 3D Spartan. Like you can do so many cool things with that. Um, especially like you can set up a scene too. Like it's not just so easy that you just take a screenshot. Sometimes it's as easy as taking a screenshot from Halo 3 or something like that, theater mode or whatever, or a screen cap from you playing. But you can also set up a scene. So like you can set up like, if you have access to the 3D Spartan yourself, you can set up, instead of animating the 3D Spartan yourself and having to do all the keyframing and all that stuff, you can take the 3D Spartan, pose it, and then put an image behind it, and then animate the entire thing without having to actually recreate the map, recreate the map and actually animate the Spartan in 3D. So, um, what's it called? That saves a lot of time, and it generally looks really freaking good. And a lot of guys like I had a lot of guys say like, "Oh, it doesn't look like exactly like the 3D Spartan that I have. It doesn't look exactly like my Spartan. It doesn't look exactly like a Halo Spartan." Dude, if it's 90% of the way there, like I'm gonna be honest with you, like I'm gonna use that over actually doing it in 3D, because at least, even though it's 90% of the way there and it's not 100% like perfect, the lighting is perfect because it's in-game lighting that it uses. So it's very, AI is very good at getting the same lighting, the same in-game kind of lighting. So when it comes to that, compared to like, you know, actual 3D Spartan that you animate within 3D space, a 3D software, the 3D Spartan almost always looks way sharper than it should look, because it's a high resolution, perfect 3D Spartan from a 3D software package. And then, you know, typically you can't do full map edits unless you have access to the actual full map and textured map, which is, I mean, I don't know. I think Rocket Goose might be working on something like that, but besides him, I don't really know anybody with a with access to the 3D maps, to the maps with all the texturing and everything done right and the lighting done right and everything like that. The one guy that I know is like really really good at 3D, who slays it every time with the 3D, is Slippin'. And even him, he doesn't have access to the 3D maps. He's using what's it called, he uses images. So like he'll set up an image, and then he'll recreate something within the actual image and kind of like motion track it in there and stuff like that, but he's not doing the entire fucking map, guys. So I mean, if we're talking about whether it's cheap or not, then why aren't we saying like, oh well, why don't you map out or model the entire fucking map and get the Spartan in there and all that stuff? It's a waste of time because you did never get the same lighting that you need, that you have in the game. So it's like you're either gonna settle for what you get through AI, or you're gonna get a super high res, sharp ass fucking 3D Spartan that doesn't fit within the actual with the actual scene of the game. So, I mean, which one do you want? I'll take the one that's easier because it's easier to fucking do and reproduce. So that's my personal, um, what's it called, philosophy on that. Because I'm not gonna sit here and waste my time on something that's like the Spartan, the 3D Spartan, everything like that doesn't look perfect, doesn't look in game fucking captured, and it always looks like it was done in a 3D software. And then the AI version looks like it's AI because it doesn't 100% match the Spartan that you have. Sometimes it gets it pretty spot on. But at least it gets the lighting right down. So it's like, pick your poison. Which one do you want? in my opinion, the one that takes less effort is the one that is more applicable. And you wouldn't say like, oh, I get a more accurate rotoscope from doing it by hand, which you would get a more accurate rotoscope if you did it by hand. Then I get from using the rotoscope brush tool. So you wouldn't do a full rotoscope by hand because it's more accurate. You would use the roto brush tool because it's reasonably accurate, and it's also not just reasonably accurate but also quicker. It's faster. So like it makes perfect sense to me why I would use AI versus doing it in 3D software. So there's some stuff that you can do in 3D software, like posing the Spartan, getting a nice image of your Spartan, uh, a nice looking image of your Spartan, so that you can have the pose animated in AI and it looks good. But besides that, it doesn't make any sense to really break yourself and kill yourself over learning learning 3D, and getting and doing it all by hand. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's quicker to do it with the AI. So in certain senses, shortcuts are perfectly okay in my opinion. So um, let's talk. Let's move on to the next subjects. Let's move on to the next subject. Is let me see. I think it was like egos and like jealousy within the space. Um, I don't know, man. I don't know if like people got egos or not, or if people are jealous or whatever. I just know that I sometimes I get some comments on my videos that are I don't necessarily agree with, and I'm like, I don't I don't I mean, I look at the work that that particular person is producing, and then I'm like, you know, like I'm comparing this to what I produce, and it's like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just me is the problem. I don't know, but it's just I just can't. I just wish there was a little bit more respect shown to creators that are you know that are going that are doing this, like really they're going really hard on this particular niche and this particular space, because I don't see a lot of people doing like all this all, pursuing this so heavily. Like I have a vision for all this shit, and it's like, you know, like when I get criticized for the work that I do, it makes me feel bad. It makes me feel bad. It's like, what am I doing this for? Like the few people that watch me, they don't even like me. So it's like, I wish I just got a little bit more respect in that sense. And sometimes I feel like it's just jealousy. It's just jealousy coming my way, because I do feel like what I've been producing, at least for the last like 2 years or so, has been like good stuff. It has been very good stuff in my opinion. It's solid videos. Um, Now, is anybody going to say whether that's true or not? It doesn't matter, because I can look at what is currently being produced and I can compare it on an objective, kind of like semi-objective scale, and I can say, okay, this is good in comparison to like what everybody else says is good, because it looks around the same level of like effort was put into this stuff. So I don't know, man. Um, but as far as egos go, man, I don't think I don't know if people got like big egos in this space. It's hard to have a big ego in a space where like there's hardly any attention, right? Like, you know, um we all deeply care about this, and we're all super passionate about this, and I admire everybody that's in the space, and I absolutely respect the hell out of everybody in the space um who does this. I mean, it's a noble fucking thing that we do. We're keeping the art form alive. We're producing amazing content, and I'm not saying anybody that's not producing the same quality of content or the same caliber and capacity of content that the bigger creators are doing. Um, Everybody, I appreciate everybody, man. Like for real, like I appreciate everybody in the space. It's not easy to stick to this, even when it's not looking so good, right? I mean, it's hard to stick to something like this and still, the few comments that you get, or the few likes that you get, the few views that you get, you look at that and you're proud of that and you're happy about that. So I admire everybody in the space. um what's it called I respect everyone in the space so much, and I deeply care about everybody in the space. And excuse me. Um and Yeah, I think we need to be a little bit easier on each other, and have more love for one another and more compassion for one another. We all work very hard on these videos. We all try very hard on our stuff, and it's just sometimes I feel like when I get some feedback, and it's not like I don't post stuff to get criticism on it, but I do appreciate that. I do appreciate the criticism on it. It's just when it's not founded in truth that I have an issue with it. Like, if you point out something that's very clearly not the intention of what I had in mind in the video, and it's almost like, you're misinterpreting it, or twisting the way, and the way the video is viewed. I mean, that bothers me, because it's like, dude, like, how is this confusing here? Like, it's very clear what is going on here. So for me, like, stuff like that, like, criticism that's not founded in truth, and that's not founded in, like, actual reality, um I just don't understand, like, why you would why anybody, and that's why I think it might be jealousy or something on the case of somebody doing this stuff. Why you would say something that doesn't really make any sense, and that very clearly is not the intentions of that I had within the creations of that I made. So it just doesn't make sense to me when I hear stuff like that, and I see stuff like that. But at the same time, um I do appreciate all feedback. I would really appreciate it if it was founded in actual grounded truth, and not something that you just pulled out of your ass and you just made up just because whatever it is, whatever video I release has you feeling a certain way or whatever. But besides that, you know, I think we need to do a better. Well, no, we don't need to do a better job loving each other, but some folks need to do a better job loving each other and respecting one another, and really being appreciative of what you know the kind of work that we create, as a community. It's amazing that we have all these people in the space, and I know I'm I'm one of the more vocal guys in the community, and I'm actively pursuing something bigger than what I currently have or whatever. Like, I'm trying to pursue this as a big time thing. Like, this is my end goal. I see this in like 5 years is we have these videos up in a gallery somewhere. We have these exhibited. We sell a couple montages, and we really get the space thriving even more, and legitimize the space more. But besides that, um, I I I think I think there needs to be more respect given to, um particularly the us older generation, of creators, because I'm a 35-year-olds I'm 35 years old. um so when I see, like, I put myself out here, like, you know in front of everybody, and say my opinion and everything. And I don't see anybody else doing that, but I see people, like, criticize, and it's like that hurts, man, because it's like, I'm putting everything I have into this shit. So, like, by you criticizing this, making fun of me, or putting me down or anything like that, like, you're actively, like, sabotaging the progress that I'm trying to make within the space. Because if I don't do it, then, I mean, are you gonna do it? I mean, it seems like you just don't want somebody to do it, but you're not gonna do it. That's what I don't get. Like, if you're not if that's why this thing was titled, like, jealousy or fucking ego or whatever. It's like, what's the point of sabotaging somebody's dream? If you're not even that invested in it, you're not even going to pursue that dream. Like, just support that person, right? Like, just show them love. Like, that's the thing, man. I just feel frustrated in that sense. But besides that, um, let's talk about montage theory. Actually, let me see what else this is. Montage editing theory. Yeah, let's talk montage editing theory. Um, I actually posted this. I posted a bunch of stuff on this frag movie theory. Uh, what's it called Discord channel in the FMA Discord where I talk about titles and how I particularly point out the titles in Vapor Reality by Photon, and also the title in Stockholm by Noob Slayer, Puba, and Zestel. In the intro Stockholm, I wish I had my phone on me. I could show you up in front of you in the camera. But in the intro Stockholm and in the intro Vapor Reality, you see these kind of like, I don't know, this like creative, more creative text where it's not more creative text, title, font, whatever you want to call it. It's not exactly like this super like, you know, it's like a perfect width of like thickness and like super bold and everything's bold and everything's, you know, capitalized and everything's like sharp and all that stuff. It's not like that. It's more of like a this creative kind of representation of what they wanted to create there. So when I see like these titles, you know, they don't exactly look the nicest, but they work. And I think that's something we have to be more apt to do is take chances because as a professional in the space, like you're a professional in the space, right? Like you can kind of sway what people view as professional looking stuff. So I had given some ideas here, like take the caps off of the titling, experiment with lowercase letters, experiment with different types of fonts and typographic styles, experiment mixing fonts together. So using different kinds of fonts within the actual, within the same, within the same, within the title, experiment with different transfer modes and obscure effects and transform titles and make them more unique. Understand this is huge right here. Understand the actual text slash character slash font tool bar and what it's capable of. If you're in After Effects, and I can only speak for After Effects because that's what I use. This text, the text properties panel and the character panels are extremely powerful. Take advantage of that. Take advantage of that. And I'm not saying I have the best titles. I don't. I don't. I'm using titles from different videos. Otherwise, I would use my own if I thought that I would that I have the most creative titles. I don't. I I think I think a lot of times I'm limited in the sense that my creativity is not where it used to be, and with the medication that I take and stuff like that. Like it really hinders my creativity too. But with that taken into account, I really want to point out these titles here of from Vapor Reality, the like 80s looking title in Vapor Reality. Um, the kind of like this kind of like almost like I want to say like amateurish looking title in Stockholm that works really well. Um, it's just I think we have to excuse me. Sorry, I had like this latte and everything. Um, the titles that we use should be, in my opinion, more creative, and they shouldn't all look the same. We shouldn't all be using, you know, Montserrat, fucking, I don't know, bold or whatever, or black bold, Montserrat or whatever it's called. We should be using different kinds of fonts, and that's another thing. Like you know, like the Stockholm title uses a weird kind of obscure font that you don't really see, and it's almost like it's been stretched like upwards, like scaled upwards so that it looks kind of weird, and that's a good thing, man. Like this looks fucking awesome, and I love this style and the whole style of the intro and everything, and the Vapor Reality. I mean that's just I think a lot of people are sleeping on that video because it has so many creative things about it. Like he incorporated real life acting. He really put himself out there. You know, Photon put himself out there, acted in there, got in that clothing, bought that like futuristic getup or whatever, and he also like used like that 3D scene where he's going through the 3D scene and it's got the what's it called the head, um like the statues and all the 3D elements and all that stuff, like the monitor, the computer, and all that stuff, the palm trees and everything, like really cool stuff. That yes, could it have been done better? Yes, but has anybody done anything like that? No, nobody has done anything like that before. So I think it's like I think it's just I think it's just a little bit disrespectful for people to be like, oh, um you should make it like super pro looking and like it should look like out of a fucking movie and all this stuff. Like, no, it doesn't have to, man, for it to be good. In my opinion, like, I think if you put that soul and you put your a little bit of yourself into that, like you've got something special there. You've got something that really captures the audience there and really speaks to the viewers. So that's what I wanted to talk about, particularly for the frag movie editing theory, the editing science or whatever, the montage editing theory, montage editing science. There's other things I wanted to talk about as well, like flow. And I had discussed this with Xander, and I think flow is, I think first of all, I want to say something. I want to say flow to me is an illusion. For me, it's not. There's videos that flow and there's videos that don't flow, and it really comes down to intentionality, because you can have a video that's intentionally off key and off sync and off flow, and it still flows, right? It flows because the flow is off flow. It's like intentionally disruptive. So what's it called? I think it comes down to intentionality, but also there's more. I think there's more to a montage than just flow. There's a lot of things besides flow in a montage that make a montage, that make an edit good, right? We're talking a lot of different things within a montage that one could talk about. I mean, there's story, there's music, there's atmosphere, there's structure, there's build up, there's climax, there's so many things that we could talk about besides just flow, right? But to me, flow is like key to having a hype ass montage, but it's not the end all be all, you know? Like I think back when we first all started, back in like 2007 or whatever, when the real transition into like kind of like this professional artistic style that we've developed throughout the years, was that we had to create, um, we all believed that flow was the answer to everything. That's what we all believed back then. We all said, yeah, it's all about the flow. It's all about the flow. The flow is there. If you have the pacing, right? The flow is the pacing, the kind of rhythm it has. That's where it's at. That's where it's at. And I think that was the right mentality back then. But the issue we have now is that we've got the flow down. Everybody seems to have the flow down, at least their own kind of style to it. Everybody seems to have the flow down. So at the if 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 the flow is on, if the flow is on, then you can't just focus just on the flow, because you can only make it so good. Like, yeah, you can polish up the flow, leave a little bit more if you want, but you're only going to get, like, like at a certain point you're at 99% of the way there. That one extra percent really does make the difference, and it will make a difference between a great edit and a fucking phenomenal edit. But my point is that you don't need it. You don't need it. It's extra, whereas you could focus on something else besides the flow at that point, like the 3D integration, like the usage of AI, like um the usage of climaxes, the buildups right, the typography, is the typography done right? That's another thing that's missing in a lot of modern montages, is typography work. Typography work seems to be lacking behind a lot of editing, a lot of editors toolkit, in an editor's toolkit. um Excuse me. I think I think there needs to be more typography work, more motion graphics work, more typography and motion graphics work is what I'm saying. Should be within these montages nowadays. I think that's one of the things that's lacking within the space. And particularly other artists that I've noticed that they don't tend to do a lot of, is a lot of motion graphics and three what's it called, typography integration. So when that's good right there. We should be doing like, if you aren't doing like flash frames, I mean, I would recommend doing flash frames. I think it adds a little bit of additional layer of depth to the video, particularly things like, flashing certain things that mean stuff to you, or messages for the audience that, little Easter eggs for people to kind of catch on and pull from. So those things are always valuable. They always have value, and they always add an additional layer of rewatchability to the video, right? Besides that, we were talking about flow, and I wanted to keep discussing about flow and talk about how to me, a it is an illusion, right? I mean, at a certain point, there's so many different styles that you can choose and pick from, so many different flows that you can go through, and certain kinds of different flows that you can use, that even flows that don't have flow are a flow. So it's all an illusion, really. You can vary your flow up. You can it's like rapping, right? Like if you hear like a rap by like Eminem or Busy Bone or whatever, or Bone Thugs and Harmony, that got the harmony right. um you see the switch up their flow so much. And it's actually like interesting thing to like try to edit to, would be a Bone Thugs and Harmony edit, because they switch their flow up so much that it's hard to kind of pinpoint that consistent rhythm that you need to have that kind of like pro flow. But In that sense, like, you just do something off key, you just do something off 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 beat, right? And that to me is a very interesting take. I think just having the idea that flow needs to be this consistent thing, that this sync up style, this like, consistent sync up rhythm style that needs to be throughout the entire video. It just doesn't it just doesn't make sense. You can slow it up, you can speed it up, you can slow it down. um you can do so many things by messing with the flow, and not just completely relying your entire video on the actual flow of the montage itself. And then, like I mentioned, there's way more aspects to a montage besides the flow. I think that's just one thing that we hyper focused on back in the day. And That stuck, because it really is that flow state, that hypnotic kind of state that we were able to tap into, that gets people in the zone and keeps the eyeballs glued onto the video screen. um, that people really resonate with and seem to resonate with. But there's way more that we haven't tapped into, and other things like that we should actively pursue is like 3D work in our videos. And 3D work within the videos and in the space. I mean, you see it in like videos like CS montages and stuff like that. They have like a whole story and things like that. Here's the thing, like, those guys are doing full 3D edits, and in that sense, it's cool. But if you play Counter-Strike 2, you'll notice that those videos are pulling from resources that aren't even they're not even Counter-Strike 2 assets. There's some random assets that they pull out of their ass, that they pull out of that they pull out of the 3D software or whatever. And it just doesn't make any sense to me sometimes, like, what exactly I'm watching, because at a certain point, it's like it's a full 3D edit. It's not really even a Counter-Strike montage anymore, you know? So there needs to be some kind of clearly defined rules between a fully 3D edit and actual montage for a particular game and niche. Because I think that overlap is confusing. That overlap is confusing, where you've got the montage that's made in full 3D, but is using assets outside of the game that don't belong to Counter Strike or Halo or whatever. And then, like, you're making it into some you're just it's not an actual real montage at that point. It's like a full 3D edit, 3D animation or something like that. It's not an actual gaming montage, in my opinion. So that's another thing we could talk about, is like full gaming montage. Like, what is an actual gaming montage, and what is a 3D edit and a 3D animation? How do we differentiate the two from each other, right? Where it's like you've got you've got the game character, just because you got the game character or characters that resemble the game character, and you've kind of got the animation, the same animations, and there's killings and kills and stuff, doesn't really make it a, in my opinion, Counter Strike edit or a Halo edit if it's not grounded within the actual same space as Halo, and uses the maps and uses, and in my opinion also should use real clips, should be derived from real actually achievable footage in the game. You can't just make up a fucking clip that doesn't exist and that's not actually capable of being gotten in the game, that nobody has ever gotten before. Because I mean, yeah, I can do a 360 no scope after getting off a Banshee and hitting a guy fucking a million freaking miles away in the game, and then make that cinematic and all that stuff. But it's not, is it a real clip? No, it's not a real clip. It's not a real clip because it's not possible to get that clip, or it hasn't been gotten yet, by an actual player. So I mean that's why there's a union between the actual player and the montage editor, you know. And it's not just the montage editor making this full 3D edit and full 3D animation. That's really, in my opinion, a lot of these edits, they're impressive because they're fully 3D, but they're very and to be honest with you, they're kind of uninspired. They're not, they're using assets that come within the 3D engine of the editing software, and they're bringing that in there, and they're using that to kind of as a wow factor and stuff, and it's it's just not that impressive. So um yeah. All right, I think I'm gonna let you guys go. Have a good one.